Snow White Fairy Tale. Once upon a time in a faraway land, there lived a kind king and queen who longed for a child. Their wish was granted when the queen gave birth to a beautiful baby girl with skin as white as snow, lips as red as blood, and hair as black as ebony. They named her Snow White, but their joy was short-lived, as the queen fell gravely ill and passed away shortly after Snow White's birth. The king, broken-hearted, found solace in his daughter's innocence and beauty. As Snow White grew older, she became the fairest in the land, much to the dismay of her stepmother, the new queen, who was consumed by jealousy. The queen, an enchantress skilled in dark magic, possessed a magic mirror that would always tell her she was the most beautiful. However, one fateful day, the mirror revealed that Snow White had surpassed her in beauty. Enraged, the queen ordered her huntsmen to take Snow White into the forest and kill her. Filled with remorse and unable to harm the innocent princess, the huntsmen set Snow White free, instructing her to run and hide in the forest to save herself from the queen's wrath. Lost and alone, Snow White stumbled upon a tiny cottage deep in the woods, where 7 dwarfs lived. The kind-hearted dwarfs took her in, and she soon became like family to them. Meanwhile, the queen, still furious at the huntsman's betrayal, brewed a poisonous apple with a spell that would make Snow White fall into a deep sleep, resembling death. Disguised as an old peddler woman, she offered Snow White the poisoned apple, and despite the dwarf's warnings, Snow White took a bite and fell into a death-like slumber. Heartbroken, the dwarfs placed her in a glass coffin, mourning her untimely fate. Time passed, and news of the sleeping beauty in the forest reached the ears of a prince, who had heard tales of Snow White's extraordinary beauty. Determined to see her for himself, the prince made his way through the forest and, upon finding Snow White, was captivated by her ethereal beauty. Moved by an intense love he couldn't explain, the prince kissed Snow White, breaking the spell. With that true love's kiss, Snow White awoke from her slumber, surrounded by the adoring dwarfs and the jubilant prince. The queen, who had been keeping an eye on Snow White, realized her plan had failed. Enraged and consumed by her own jealousy and hatred, the queen attempted to cast one final curse, but before she could complete it, lightning struck her, and she vanished in a cloud of smoke. With the queen gone, peace was restored to the kingdom, and Snow White and the prince were married, with the dwarfs as honored guests. Their wedding was a grand celebration, and it was said that they lived happily ever after, ruling the kingdom with kindness, compassion, and a deep understanding of the power of true love and forgiveness. And the memory of Snow White, the fairest of them all, remained etched in the hearts of all who knew her tale. Thanks for watching this videos. Like and subscribe.